from the campus of the University of Alabama. Live sports from Alabama's sports team. This is WVUA Sports.
Welcome into sports, everybody. I'm Scott Braswell. Gary Harris has this evening off. Usually college football fans have to wait until Saturday for some of the best matchups, but tonight we had a rare top 20 matchup when Auburn traveled to Kansas State. With that, let's go straight to the highlights. Undefeated Auburn trying to stay undefeated as they travel to Manhattan, Kansas. First quarter, Kansas State on the doorstep, and Jake Waters fires a dart off the chest of Tyler Lockett and intercepted in the end zone by Jonathan Jones. Auburn dodges a huge bullet. We go to the second quarter, and it's Nick Marshall. His pass is batted up in the air by Travis Britz of Kansas State and intercepted by DeCorey Johnson. That would lead to this. DeMarcus Robinson, 3-yard touchdown run, makes it 7-3 Kansas State. Kansas State fans celebrate. Not for long, though. Nick Marshall would respond. Fires it over to Ricardo Lewis, and he does the rest. Poor tackling by Kansas State. Auburn goes up 10-7 right before the half. And that would be all she wrote as Auburn goes on to win 20-14. Let's go to Alabama. The third-ranked Crimson Tide head into this weekend as the heavy favorite against the Florida Gators. But if you know Nick Saban, you know all too well he never takes any opponent lightly. While the Gators are trying to forget about last season's 4-8 record, Coach Saban says Florida is more talented than the pundits say.
Florida has an outstanding team, way better than anybody here thinks in terms of the players that they have. You know, they lost a lot of players due to injury last year. They got a lot of players back that are very, very good players. And regardless of what anybody thinks, they'll be as talented as probably anybody that we play this year. All right, so it's going to be important that our players play their very best. And we're looking forward to having the opportunity to play at home against a very good SEC opponent on national television.
Let's stay with Alabama. Saturday's game will be a family affair for Alabama tight end Brian Vogler. Vogler grew up in the state of Florida but graduated high school in Columbus, Georgia. Both of Vogler's parents attended UF, but family ties aside, the fifth-year senior says he's ready to take down his childhood team.
You know, it's always great to start off SEC play. Obviously, with it being a team that I grew up as a huge fan of, being a guy that didn't necessarily graduate from the state of Florida, but grew up in Florida, and my parents went to Florida, so it's always a good opportunity when we get to play them.
All right, Vogler is our player spotlight this week on Crimson Tide Kickoff. Don't forget to tune in this Saturday at 11 a.m. And what a show we have in store for you. Look at this guest list. An all-star cast including Bobby Bowden, Howard Schnellenberger, plus another Scott on the Street segment with yours truly. You won't want to miss that. Catch the show 11 a.m. Saturday only on WVUA. To the local scene today, the Stillman Tigers were preparing for the St. Augustine Falcons. The Tigers have gotten off to a slow start this season, dropping their first 2 games. But get this, St. Augustine is also looking for their first win. The Falcons are 0-2 as well. Stillman head coach Teddy Keaton says that despite the 0-2 start, he hasn't lost confidence in his team.
I think our players are hungry for a win. We're just trying to get into W College. I still think I have a great football team. I still believe them. You know, losses hurt you in some ways with the morale of the team, but I'm really, happy about how they responded to the adversity. And they've kept their morale and they're focusing on the things that they can control and not the things they can't control. So I'm very proud of them in that aspect.
That's all the time we have for sports. We're back with more news right after the break.